Hey Al, how you doing? We just went through a major rainstorm here to where this whole river was completely flooded. The road here, Hayden Arm Road, was under about 2 feet of water. It's decreasing quite rapidly at this point.
So what we're looking at right here was under 2 feet of water?
It was under 2 feet of water. In fact, you could see it was all the way, the wetness was out to here. The mailbox was underwater. The water was all the way up to here. In fact, all this gravel that's along this side here, that's my neighbor's driveway, 2 driveways up. And we were picking up rocks about 1 foot in diameter off the yellow line here.
That's the line right here?
Yes, all this here and there is from over there. And we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, that's from over here?
Yeah, just to the left of the mailbox, where all those rocks are sticking up.
Yeah.
So what had happened is the stream came up so fast, the drainage that is just to the right of the bridge in the grass area got covered over with all the debris. With the amount of water and force, it moved their stone wall. The water came within 2 feet of their house. It took out their whole backyard. Their hot tub was floating. We just spent the last hour building makeshift barriers to keep the stream back because it was undermining their pool and their whole backyard is destroyed. In this area here, the stream overran its banks. It actually overran its banks behind my neighbor's house and all along there, and came across the front lawn, took out the driveway, which is now across the road. That's what was flooding this road. This road was under about 2 feet of water. I was picking up rocks about the size of basketballs off the yellow line about an hour ago.
And so if we go out to this lawn real quick, we can tell that the water came from here because the grass would be pushed down, right?
Yes.
It is.
And
we can see right here it's pushed down here.
Well, these logs are from their backyard.
And the grass is normal over here, and it's pushed down over here.
And the storm drain that the city put in with the bridge renovation, within moments of the storm starting, filled up with debris. My neighbor was out here in a couple feet of water. As you can see, the water was up to here. So this is how deep it was. If you can vision from here over, and the water was all the way out almost to their house coming through here. This storm drain plugged up with debris, so it was non-functioning. My neighbor was out here pulling the debris out of the drain to get the water to flow. Okay, in this area, when the city originally dug in here, they came back later and they put this riprap stone, which you see in this area. This was all along the side. I had warned the city that what was going to happen was, because of the narrowness of it and shrinking the size of the stream down, you are now going to produce pressure. You're taking water that was normally in a 12-foot area, putting it in a 5-6 foot area. It's going to build up pressure. It's going to bottleneck and flood, and it's going to build up pressure through here. Pressure and velocity and mass.
All right, so again, real quick, since we're at another angle, let's just inform the readers again. This over here used to be the old stream. And this over here is...
This was the stream right here.
And it was 12 feet wide.
Yep. This is the edge of it. Right along here like this. Now, the other thing I warned about, which you can see happening, look at where the water is pounding that corner. My fear, and I told this to the city engineers, was that enough storms of that water pounding that corner, it's going to take out this tree right here on the corner. It's a straight shot, and all of a sudden you had this jog to go around that tree. And you can see the roots are getting exposed. The water's just going to keep pounding and pounding and pounding on that until it undermines that tree.
Now, again, let's just inform the readers again. The armor that is now gone, that I'm viewing right here, all that topsoil down there, that used to be armor.
It all used to look like this.
Yeah, all that used to look like this right there. So that right there, that rock, all those rocks used to be all over the green.
Yes.
It is all created by the city and bottlenecked by the city.
Yes. In fact, all that armoring right now is probably laying in that water basin. If you see what I'm standing on, that whole side, that's what it was. Now the other thing, if you notice, I had warned the city that having this protrusion here, that the water was going to pound on that spot. It was going to remove the armoring, and eventually it's going to undermine this tree. And if you see what's happening, I don't know if your video camera can catch it, but the water right now is going underneath the soil by about 2 feet. It's going through and it's popping up over here by that piece of wood. So there is probably no soil. We won't know until the water goes down, but there's probably no soil underneath those roots.
Where I'm standing right here, all this soil here used to be rock, correct?
Yes.
And we're looking at roots over here. We see the roots down here. There's a better angle of the roots we're talking about.
Well, the other thing I'm noticing is if you look where the water takes a drop here, if you notice it, the water is running under the soil. This stream is now wider than it was when the city made this hole. That used to be all soil. This thing was tapered in on an angle like this.
Correct.
If you look now, it's a straight down vertical cut.
And this is all erosion.
All that soil, which we're supposed to be concerned about with erosion control and with soil sedimentation, all that soil is now going to be found downstream.
And let's get a better look at these roots over here. This is what you're talking about with the tree. And the tree probably going, and it's going to be a matter of time. Here's the tree you're talking about. Here's the head. And you can see the roots right here. And it's definitely going under as well.
All those roots were under soil before this storm. And now they're all exposed. The other thing, if you'll notice, just a couple feet to our right, this side of the bank was also armored. And it's all gone as well, and it also has eroded. This stream hole, if you look in your original video, was not this wide.
I guess you can tell right here, here's some of the armor that's right here that was here before.
Yes, and it went in on like a 45-degree angle down.
So all this armor is basically, all this armor that we had about a year ago is all gone.
It's gone. It's been slowly progressing. Every storm we've had, I've watched more and more and more of it disappear. But this storm finally took out the biggest swath. We had about 20 feet on that side before this storm that was missing, and maybe 5 feet on this side. But now you've got a good 50 to 75 feet that's missing, and on this side you've got a good 30 feet that's missing. And on top of that, you no longer, the angling is gone. This thing has cut a gorge.
Now, let's say you're the city designer. What would you have done to prevent something like this from happening?
Well, what they should have done was planned it from the beginning, and it wasn't. And it was a last-minute thing. The water department came in under an emergency situation because underneath the original stream bed are 2 water lines. And instead of getting the engineers out here and coming up with a plan, the water department came in here with a backhoe, bulldozed, just pushed their way through with a backhoe, dug the trench, and like we've said earlier, underneath all this soil that's from inside the stream, this new stream bed, it's just the brush and the trees they knocked down. There was no mitigation at all, no siltation, no hay bales, nothing was done. And then they just backfilled this in. They dropped a huge amount of stone, and then they filled it in with soil. And it wasn't until I went down to the health department and said, what the heck's going on, that they all came out and they designed working with what they had already done. They should have, if there was a health problem with the pipe that was in the stream bed, the pipe has been there since the 60s. My neighbor has lived in her house for over 20 years. It has never been a problem. They should have designed a system taken out some of these trees possibly and made it a sweeping thing to get around the pipe instead of just cutting this trench. I mean, you've got a bottleneck going on there. You've got water pounding on this edge here, which I had warned them about. You see it, it's hitting and it's bouncing in. That's going to keep eroding and cutting. It's building up pressure. It's pounding on that corner. Sorry. Pounding on that corner. And then you're going to a 90-degree turn. The other thing I'm noticing